It was supposed to be a simple, routine surgery. Nothing risky, nothing new. Just a quick procedure, and back home the next day. But what happened in that operating room changed everything. And it nearly cost one young woman her life. Nina Adewale was a 29-year-old school teacher in Ibadan. Energetic, disciplined, and deeply loved by her students. She had always been healthy, but for months she'd experienced discomfort in her lower abdomen. After several tests, her doctor recommended a minor surgical procedure, a laparoscopic cyst removal. The doctor assured her it was straightforward, and she had nothing to worry about. It was scheduled for a Tuesday morning at a reputable private hospital. Her family prayed. Nina even laughed as she was wheeled into the theater. She remembered saying, "Let me sleep and wake up lighter." She had no idea what she was about to wake up to. The surgery began at 10 a.m. sharp. Everything was going according to plan, until the lead surgeon noticed something strange. There was more bleeding than expected. Unusual swelling. He paused, confused. The nurses exchanged worried glances. Something wasn't right. Suddenly, one of the monitors began to beep rapidly. Nina's blood pressure was dropping. Fast. "Get me suction, now," the doctor barked. "Clamp here, no there. It's ruptured." It turned out that Nina had a rare internal abnormality in arterial loop near her ovary. Something the skin hadn't revealed. They had accidentally nicked it. What should have been a 45-minute operation turned into a battle to save her life. The anesthesiologist's voice broke the silence. "She's losing too much blood, we're crashing." A call went out to the blood bank. No O-negative blood available at the moment. Panic began to rise. Outside the theater, Nina's mother paced back and forth, holding tightly to her rosary. She had felt uneasy all morning. At one point, she stopped and whispered, "God, please. I can't bury my daughter. Not today." Just when it seemed hope was slipping, a junior doctor, Dr. Teo, who had been observing quietly, spoke up. "I've read about this before. It's rare, but there's a technique we can use to stop the bleed temporarily. It might work." The lead surgeon hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Not 100%. But if we don't try, we'll lose her." They decided to risk it. Working together, hands trembling but focused, they applied the emergency technique. It took 18 minutes. It felt like 180. Then finally the bleeding stopped. The room was silent except for the sound of Nina's heart monitor slowly returning to rhythm. Nina spent 3 days in the ICU. She didn't remember much at first, only that she woke up to her mother's tears and a nurse saying, "You're safe now." Doctors told her how close she came to death. A few more minutes, a few more drops of blood, and that would have been it. She later found out that the hospital has now updated its pre-surgery screening protocols because of her. Nina's story isn't just a medical miracle. It's a reminder that even routine things can take unexpected turns. That life is fragile, and in the blink of an eye, everything can change. But it's also a testimony that sometimes the right voice in a room, the right decision in a moment of chaos, and the right prayer whispered outside a theater can make all the difference. If you've ever faced fear in a hospital room, or if you're walking through your own health battles right now, remember Nina. Remember that even when things look like they're falling apart, they might just be falling into place. She survived the surgery, but what came next left everyone stunned. Nina had survived the surgery, barely. Her family rejoiced. Her doctors sighed in relief. But just when it seemed the worst was over, a new and terrifying complication emerged. And this time it wasn't physical. It was something far more hidden and far more haunting. Nina returned home after a week in the hospital. She was weak but grateful, thankful to God for life. Cards, prayers, and flowers poured in from friends, students, and colleagues. But deep inside, she didn't feel okay. She was having strange dreams, waking up in cold sweats. Her chest would tighten at night, especially when it rained. One night, just a week after her discharge, Nina collapsed in her living room. Her brother rushed in. She was gasping for air, clutching her chest, her lips pale. They rushed her to the emergency unit again, but after a full examination, the doctors said her vitals were fine. "What's happening to me?" she asked, tears rolling down her face. One doctor quietly replied, "You're experiencing post-surgical trauma. It's not uncommon. Nina was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, not something most people associate with surgery. Every time she saw a white coat, heard the sound of hospital beeping, or even smelled antiseptic, her hands would shake. She'd feel trapped in that moment on the operating table, when she almost didn't make it. For weeks, Nina couldn't sleep. She avoided mirrors. She started to withdraw from church, from school, even from her family. Then one night, she wrote a note. It wasn't a suicide note, but it was close. She wrote, "If this is what surviving feels like, maybe I'm not strong enough." Her mother found the note. That night, her mother didn't say much. She simply knelt by Nina's bed and held her hand. "We didn't fight death just to lose to despair," she whispered. "And if we have to fight this again, we'll do it together." With therapy, prayer, and slow steps, Nina began a new journey: emotional healing. She started journaling. She met other women who had experienced traumatic surgeries and miscarriages. She began speaking at small women's groups and churches, telling her story, not just about what happened in the theater, but what happened after. She called it the surgery after the surgery, healing the part that stitches couldn't reach. You see, surviving the surgery was only the first miracle. The second was rediscovering her will to live. Nina now advocates for post-surgical mental health support in hospitals across Nigeria, because sometimes, the wounds we can't see take the longest to heal. And sometimes, survival isn't the end of the story. It's only the beginning. But just as Nina was finding peace, a new test of faith appeared. This time, it wasn't her life on the line. It was someone else's. To be continued.